Lagos, one of the fastest growing cities in Africa, located in the southwest of Nigeria. There are about 20 million people in Lagos, and it's the largest state by population. Lagos is home to one of the most expensive properties in Africa.
Okri property show.
The Okri Property Show, shedding light on property investments around the world.
One of the fundamental questions for developers looking at the Lagos property market is, how should rent be paid? Should it be paid annually or should it be paid monthly? Now, for tenants, they would like to make rental payments monthly because that's affordable for them. But for landlords, they would rather a yearly payment because it avoids the need to constantly call the tenants. That's the big issue. The Lagos state government right now is looking at monthly payment as a way forward. What do you think? These are big issues that need big answers. A chain of events which will reverberate in the Lagos private rental sector about tenants paying rent monthly was activated in a recent Las Vegas conference. At this conference, the Lagos state government set out how the monthly tenancy scheme is to run. Let's turn to it.
That can assist would-be investors and investees who operate in a conducive business environment. We all know the havoc and the damages caused by the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, which brought drastic changes to the financial sector of the world. Despite this, the real estate sector remained the preferred investment globally in spite of this threat.
What we're doing is not just something that fell on us, without thinking through. We have our economic agenda, which we call the team's agenda. And under the team's agenda, the aim there, which is making Lagos a real 21st century economy. To make a 21st century economy is to make a smart city, is to make a city that is resilient. And there's no way you can make a 21st century if the population does not have a place they can call home, a place they can call their own point of residence, or provide opportunity for the city to grow.
Okri Rent to Own is a program that has existed for over 10 years in Lagos. It started with the government of Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola. He was the pioneer governor at that time. Basically, that was a building of units and estates provided by government. Upon pre-qualification, you're allowed to pay 5% of the cost of that unit, and then over a 10-year period, you paid at most 33% of your monthly rent. Right. So we make sure that after paying that rent for that pre-qualification, you still have money to do other things. So it's been a huge success. It's been in existence over 10 years.
So I'm not aware of that.
Wow.
Is everybody,
everybody is aware of it. Every home that has been launched by Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu has been a rent-to-own program. From Ibeshe to Badagry to Igbodo to Surulere, name it. We've done it.
Who's entitled to it?
Every Lagosian who pre-qualifies and has a job and is a resident of Lagos.
And how do you pre-qualify for those in the self-employed
Just
sector,
apply.
not employed.
Once you apply, and the Lagos State Mortgage Board looks at your papers, you're good to go.
Okay.
It's available to every Lagosian who is resident.
Very good. And just very quickly, we talk about the tenancy, the monthly tenancy that you're introducing now in Lagos State. How would it work for self-employed, not employed, but self-employed?
The same process happens. The same way we pre-qualify for the Lagos State Mortgage Board. Once we can say consistency of income, then you will pre-qualify. That is the determining factor.
And if there's a default on tenants, not the landlord, what do you do?
The insurance takes it over. And that's why when I was talking about it, I told you there are various components that we have brought in together: the financiers, the insurance, the landlord, the tenant, the legal, the agents.
Yes.
Everybody is in that bucket together, and we're just midwifing and creating an enabling environment.
So this is a win-win situation for everybody.
It's a win-win situation.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the interview.
Kudos to Mr. Agabadi.
So here we have it, Lagos State government introducing a new form of paying rent in the private rental sector. I'm going to be interviewing a landlord just to get his views about this whole issue. Kenny will interview later in the program a tenant on this matter. And we're also going to be comparing what happens in the UK and in Nigeria. And so one of our presenters will be interviewing a tenant in the UK, and let's just wrap up and see how all of this unfolds. So let's find out what the landlord has to say on this issue. Ebenezer Maduako is the owner of this 4-bedroom house here in Lekki. He also owns a number of properties rented out to tenants. Ebenezer, thank you for having us in your property.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, I hear you're a landlord.
Yes, please.
Okay. So tell me about your property. I mean, you're a landlord. How long have you been a landlord? How does it work?
I have been a landlord in Lagos for the past about 7 years now, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the private rental sector in Lagos, what's the property market like, the rental market?
Well, as I say, you would definitely need accommodation. So regardless, you can't go wrong with real estate. That much I can tell you. And apparently, it has been on the rise. In all fairness, well, the economy in itself has been on the rise. So obviously, that is going to dwindle down and reflect on individual expenses, one of which is accommodation.
So in terms of, say for your 4-bedroom apartment, what kind of rent would they normally pay?
The one I have is actually in Lekki and the Agungi part of Lekki.
Okay, so Lekki is the affluent part of Lagos.
Exactly. So the rent for that property is obviously going to be different from different locations in Lagos. Now, typically you could be looking at anything between a 2 million, 2.5 million rent for those apartments.
2.5 million naira.
Yeah, naira, please.
You're not referring to dollars.
We are in Nigeria, so.
Of course. So 2.5, is that the average for that kind of property?
For a 4-bedroom apartment, because this is an apartment complex, yes. Typically, I know for other properties that are obviously owned by other people, if it's a detached duplex in itself, chances are the rent most likely will be higher because of that privacy.
Yes.
That's also a factor.
In some parts of Lekki, they pay up to about 5 million, 4 million.
Yes, of course.
A year.
Yes. As a matter of fact, it goes up to about 6-7 million.
Right. So it's a nice place you've got here. So how long have you lived here?
I've been here for about a year.
Okay. So how many bedrooms are there?
This is a 4-bedroom terrace.
Terrace apartment. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. And which part of Lagos is this?
Lekki as well.
Okay, it was Lekki. Okay.
Yes.
Lekki is the affluent part of Lagos.
What can I say?
So you live in one of the rich parts. You're not living
not necessarily. Not necessarily. We're just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Plus, my business and obviously my investment is within this vicinity, so yes.
Brilliant. I really have to ask you about this monthly rental payment scheme being introduced by the Lagos State government. What's your take on this?
There are two ways to look at this here. There's the part where it favors the landlord, and there's a part where it doesn't favor the landlord.
Well, hang on a minute. A monthly rental payment favors the landlord?
Well, from Ebenezer's perspective, I'm not speaking for all landlords now, I'm speaking for myself as my own landlord. Yeah, a monthly rental payment, it can work, but as I said previously, there has to be a bump. However, the disadvantage there might probably be the high likelihood of default. Yeah, and the frequency of that. Now, how I feel that they can mitigate this is if you get the right legal framework around it, will work. Typically, say on entry, yeah, I would probably suggest on entry every tenant should pay for 1 year rent upfront first on entry, and then subsequently on the 13th month. That's after the first year.
So after the first year,
the
second
yeah.
the enlargement of the tenancy.
Exactly. From the 13th month, then you can start off with the monthly payment.
So when the scheme comes into play, as a landlord, would you join the scheme, the monthly scheme? Or
Yeah, of course I will. I don't mind doing that. I actually don't mind doing that. Again, the initial risk for the landlords is typically on entry. Yeah, if a tenant enters and says, hey, I want to be here I want your apartment, and then they pay 1 month, 2 months, and the third month they start to misbehave, you know, that obviously is not good for what we're doing. That's not going to be good for any landlord.
Oh, I see. So in summary, you don't mind the monthly tenancy provided first year annual upfront payment, and then in the second year you don't mind the monthly rental payment. That's how I understand your views.
Yes, that would be my position.
That's your
Yes,
position.
I don't
Very
mind that.
interesting.
Of course, there will be a bump on there has to be that bump. I'm emphasizing on that just to reiterate.
Right.
Yeah, after that first year, the subsequent monthly payment will not be just whatever that first year is divided by 12. Yes. There has to be a bump, and the tenants should agree on that. And then if that is okay, everybody signs an agreement. Good, but for this to be enforceable, or for this to be to work in practice, there has to be a proper legal framework that also protects the landlord and can be enforced. Because typically, once you implement this, truth is we're in Lagos, and Nigerians are amazing people. Yeah, we are all amazing people. So at the end of the day, you're going to get a lot of cases in court. You will get a lot of cases in court.
That's the worry for monthly tenancy.
Yes, you will get a lot of cases in court, and the legal system might get overworked.
I think we spoke to the Lagos State government, and what they say is that there's some kind of an insurance scheme that if the tenant doesn't pay, the insurance could step in on behalf of the tenant.
Okay.
That's how this is.
But off the top of my head, that can work if there is a lease contract in place and then you take an insurance on that lease.
Yeah.
So in a situation where there's a default from that tenant, then the insurance company steps in to...
The landlord can claim on insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that can actually work, actually.
Yes, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what the landlord wants is his money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Good point. Very well said. I mean, you put it clearer than some. But excellent. Well, listen, thank you very much again for having us on your beautiful home. And,
Thank you.
Have a wonderful time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
I'm on my way to visit Mr. Bernard. Mr. Bernard lives in Lekki, an affluent part of Lagos. He has 2 kids and he stays in a 3-bedroom apartment. So how long have you lived in this area?
4 years, going to 5 years now.
Yeah, okay. Can you describe the neighborhood?
Peaceful, kind of calm and quiet. It's not noisy. I would say it's safe because no theft or something. And generally you have like working class people here and business people, no artisans around. So it's basically quiet, a quiet neighborhood, very quiet and peaceful.
Can you describe the people in the area too?
You know, like in Lagos, everybody keeps to themselves, but generally people I come across, they're like friendly.
Okay.
They're friendly, yeah, friendly people.
So this property that you're in, how long have you been a tenant here?
As I said, I've been in Agungi when I came to Agungi, I started staying here. So my rent is like going to 5 years now.
So can you describe this property too?
It's a 3-bedroom apartment and 4 flats inside the compound, a security post. My neighbors are like working class people. Me, I'm into business. I'm a real estate. I'm a realtor, and I do business by the side too. So my neighbors are peaceful and quiet people, friendly. But we live like a family here.
Okay.
Like
So
a
how do you
family
pay
here.
your rent? Is it yearly, monthly, daily, weekly?
I'm a yearly rent payer. I pay yearly.
How do
pay
you
yearly.
find paying the rent too? Paying yearly?
Paying yearly, you have to really save. You have to really save, and when you save, when it gets to, most times you save a certain amount. Something might just come up. You spend from it. So when it hits the 12th month, before it gets to the 12th month, you start having hassles or like, how are you going to get this money back? How are you going to put the money together? So when the rent is huge, it's not really easy.
Now Lagos State is trying to implement a monthly rental scheme, payment scheme.
Okay.
So what do you think about this? Do you think it's a good idea?
To me, it is. It is. Because it keeps you, it makes you know, like, I'm going to pay AYZ every month. You put your mind on that amount, you pay. So whatever you're getting extra is your money.
Okay.
You're going to sit on that. Most times, if you're paying monthly, if you have more than 1 month's money, you could as well pay upfront. You have time to pay any amount you want to pay. But basically, you're paying a month.
Now, I'm trying to enforce this monthly payment. Don't you think it will be a problem?
I don't think so. You see the idea, they're dropping you from paying a huge amount at the end of the year. You're paying bit by bit every month. I don't know, why would you default? It doesn't give any reason for you to default because you're given a lifeline. So everybody take advantage of the lifeline. Are you getting me? Now you're saying, okay, I'm going to pay AYZ at the end of the month. You're just paying A at every month. I don't think you want to default now.
And in any way, do you think it's going to be a loss for landlords who are getting huge money at the end of the year before, but now they're having like
Bit by bit.
monthly?
The problem will not be for the tenants because the tenants will buy the idea. The landlords are the issues because the landlord really want to buy the idea because you're going to get huge. Okay, you're getting 15 million or 10 million at the end of every year. You look at that rate and someone will pay you bit by bit. It's like you're doing business or you lend someone money, the person will pay you back, you pay you bit by bit. You won't get what to do with the money.
I'm here in central London to meet a tenant to get his view about the benefit of a monthly rental payment. Let's see what he has to say. Come with me.
Yeah, look, I think I can make that meeting, 7:30 at the hotel. Is anybody else joining us on the day? Okay, yeah, bring him along. That should be good. And do send me the deck in advance so that I can have an insight into what we're going to discuss. And that should be good for me. Yeah, look forward to seeing you. Thanks for calling in. Take care, buddy. Bye.
Tarun, thanks for inviting us to your home.
My pleasure, Pinky.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, how long have you lived in this neighborhood for?
Well, this is St. John's Wood. I'd go back maybe 18 years.
What kind of people live in the area?
It's fantastic, cosmopolitan. There can be people who are working, professionals, bankers, equally business people, retired people. So it's like a nice village in the middle of London.
Oh, that's amazing. And how about this flat? Have you moved in here recently, or you were living here
Just 3 months
before
ago,
as well?
I just rented my own place, which is twice the size of this place. And it's too much for a single person, so I find this very nice. I'm facing Regent's Park, Primrose Hill is around the corner. So I love the ambience, I love the people around, I love the environment.
Yeah, it's like you've got everything what you want here.
I think I do.
Yeah, but what is the best thing about this apartment, and why did you like it?
I think it's got a good mix about everything. So, for instance, I like eating good food. It's got a nice open plan kitchen, cupboards to store things. I can have this big refrigerator, like, because I don't want to cook every day, I store things in there. It's got a table I can eat on and nice countertops, and it's got a nice clean feel about it. Is the living space I have here. So if I'm bored of that table there, I can come on the formal table. If I'm getting guests in, we can sit there. I had a lot of furniture in the old house, but I managed to sort of cram it all in. So it's got, it's like my own home. So I feel good when I enter the place.
Can you describe about this apartment?
When you walk in, you got to get a feeling of you're entering your home. So I can immediately, it's got open space, my dining table fits in there. I see my furniture in. So the moment you enter, it's got the space in there. If there are guests, there's a guest loo in there. It's got storage space there. And then if I'm hungry, my open plan kitchen is right there. It's nice and spacious. It even has a table I can eat on, nice clean countertops, big fridge so I can store all the stuff in there. So it's fantastic in that sense. And then I walk into a bedroom. So there's a guest. There are 3 bedrooms here, but I live alone. So I've converted one into an office space, which functions very well given not everybody was meeting physically earlier. So it functions very well. And then there's a guest bedroom in there with an attached bathroom there. And then there's the master bedroom. It has a jacuzzi, a nice bathroom, a sort of walk-in cupboard for myself. I have a lot of clothes. That's the only vice. So I've got a lot of cupboards full of clothes, and it works very well. So it's very functional.
Amazing. Yeah. No wonder you've been living here for such a long time. Do you prefer paying rent yearly or monthly?
Personally, for me, if that sort, I did pay 6 months rental, as I mentioned earlier, in advance. But if they said, look, we're going to ask you for a full year's rental and pay in advance, I would have. So apart from the 6 months rental, I have paid 3 months of a deposit. But I think for most people, a monthly rental works well because you budget well, and then you can sort of set up a direct debit and it goes out, so you know what's going out. And obviously, you know your incoming sort of monies. So it works pretty well.
Yeah. What do you think if you have to pay yearly rent all the time? Can you cope, or what do you think about the other people?
I think you got to look at it from the landlord's perspective. Many landlords would be happy to get a year's rent in advance, so they can feel, look, if I've rented the property for a certain period, I have 12 months rent sitting in my coffers in my bank. From a tenant's point of view, I suspect, whilst I did pay 6 months, as I mentioned earlier, 6 months rental in advance, I may have been happy to get this property as a tenant for 12 months and paying that rental in advance. Most people would prefer a monthly rental because you see, you get probably your income every month, and so you know what your outflow is, and you can budget better. So I think from a tenant's point of view, normally I would think, at least in the UK, most people end up paying monthly rental.
Tarun, what do you like in this area? Because I can see there is a beautiful park, there is a lovely high street, some lovely restaurants around here. So what are the things you like, and what do you normally do on day-to-day basis apart from the work, like if you want to spend good time?
Look, it's a fantastic place. As I said earlier, this is a good mix of people. It's a cosmopolitan area. Like I said, it's a nice village in the middle of London. You don't find many areas like this. Definitely. Fantastic high street, as you correctly said, great restaurants. So depending on the cuisine your taste buds are aching for, I walk into a restaurant. If I'm just looking for a plain coffee, I have all the baristas here, so you can walk in and enjoy a good cup of coffee or just a leisurely walk. And if I'm actually wanting to see, look, I want to shed some weight that I put on over, then the parks are right there, you know what I mean? I've got Regent's Park right opposite, I've got Primrose Hill, so I think it's a great place to live in.
In Lagos State, Nigeria, government has introduced a monthly rent payment system. Do you think it's a good thing?
I think it's a great thing because from a tenant's point of view, you're not paying, let's say for 1 year's rent in advance, you're paying monthly rental, your outflow is better managed, your inflows are normally monthly,
That's
so
right.
it works well.
Yes.
I think also from a landlord's point of view, it should work very well. So for instance, let's say you have a property sitting vacant, you rather have somebody taking it. The pandemic has affected people.
Definitely.
And this should help. So you won't have, say, vacant properties. From a landlord's point of view, properties are rented out. From a tenant's point of view, he or she is paying monthly rental. Better management of cash works well. Win-win for everybody.
That's right. But enforcement could be a problem?
Look, at the end of the day, the UK laws work better. People are used to paying monthly rental. But I think change is imminent.
Yes.
And this should augur well for everybody. So yes, if somebody is not paying, you do take people to court.
Yes.
But those are cases that will always happen anywhere. It happens even in the UK. So I don't think it's going to be any different there.
Yes.
Should be.
But don't you think that because they have been used to paying yearly payment system, yearly rent payment, it would be difficult for them to adjust as a monthly rent payment? Or
Look, at the end of the day,
how would they cope with it?
from a landlord's point of view, yes, you get a lump sum amount in cash. You do whatever with it.
Yeah.
But from a tenant's point of view, it's easy to adjust because instead of finding that lump sum of cash, you're paying it monthly.
Definitely, it's good for
Works well.
tenants, but
So
I think
that-
landlords not gonna like it probably because they can use the lump sum.
No, but some people may like
payment
it. If you
somewhere.
think of it in a different way. Some people like the idea of getting in a certain amount of cash every month.
Yeah.
So let's say I get 12 months rental in advance and it's sitting in a bank.
Yeah.
I may spend it. What happens for the rest of the 10, 11 months? This way, I know a certain amount of money, my rental payment for my apartment or house is going to come in on a monthly basis. So I can utilize it the way I wish to, and it's my money. It's
That's
not
right,
something that,
yes.
what if the tenant decides to, there may be a break clause, in which case I have to repay a certain sum of money. This way, it works well, I think.
The Okri Property Show.
Brought to you by Menvo Homes Limited.
The Okri Property Show.